So I've painted around the edges everywhere, and now we're going to glue this together. Here you might have noticed when I was leafing through it, I have pockets, but the cards that are able to fit these pockets are not 4 inches wide, so you can't really put a 4x6 picture on it. So I'm not going to do that with this book. I'm just going to glue them together. And I'll repeat that for the other two. So the book is glued together now. And it looks like this right now. And the next step will be to decorate the pages. Now you can see that the covers are slightly larger. So I would need to cut 2 pieces for the front and the back that are 4.5 wide by 6 3/4 long. And for the 10 pages in the middle, I'm going to cut papers that are 4.25 wide by, again, 6 3/4 inches long. So earlier I mentioned that you only need 4 or 5, and you only need 4 or 5 because if you position the measurements like this, you can get 4 papers out of 1 sheet. But I like a little bit of variation in it, so I will cut maybe 2 or 3 out of each. That way I have a little bit wider selection. So I'll be cutting my papers. As usual, I am going to use my quilting ruler and cutter. And I will be cutting everything out. And then I will be back. I forgot to mention that if you use an 8.5 by 11, you can get 2 pieces of papers out of there, 4.25 by 4.25. And because this is 6 3/4, and if this is 4.25, you reach 11 again, so it just fits. And for the covers, you need a bigger piece, so you're going to put them side by side this way. That's the best way of use of your paper. So I cut my pages and I've placed them where I want them in my book. And now I'm going to set them aside in the order that they need to go in the book. This way I know exactly where they all go. And I will be corner rounding 2 of the corners because I don't need to corner round those. So this is how it's going to look. And I'm using a magazine or catalog to glue in, and I'm using a glue stick this time. I'm using a glue stick now because this is paper, and when I used the other glue when I was taping the pages together, that's cardstock, so I want a sturdier glue for that. Now I'm going to get my brayer out and really push this down, and here I will use my bone folder. Now second one, there's a writing on here. I'm going to see which way it goes. I think it goes this way. So I will round these 2 corners, turn the page, and glue some more. I'll continue gluing and then I will come back. So all the papers are in, and I'm not sure about this color. It's a bit darker than the rest. Even this one is quite dark, but oh well, they do kind of go together. So now we're going to make the inserts. These over here, papers over here, and I'm going to try to use my leftover pieces from the papers. So I'll be cutting from here, and I think I'm gonna try and use this one. So I'm gonna use this piece of paper first, and we're at number 9, so we need 4 3/8 wide, so that's about here. So I'll be cutting this to the width we need. Then we need, for the bottom, we need a 2 inch by 4 3/8, and for the top we need a 1 1/4 by 4 3/8. And I like to make the top and the bottom of the same papers, so I'm gonna cut a 2 inch and a 1 1/4 inch, and I probably can get another one out of here, but let's concentrate on one first. Then we're going to fold them in half because I like a folded over piece of paper better than a single one. The folded side will make it stronger. And I'm going to use double-sided tape because then I have another piece of material in there that will make it stronger. I did try a glue stick, but it isn't as sturdy as with double-sided tape. And I have a 1-inch double-sided tape that I will be placing on here. And I will continue making more until I have 12 of each. So I like to have them contrasting to what the paper is on the page. So these could go here. And I will continue making more until I have enough. So I've cut all my inserts and I have still a little bit left that I can use later on for something else. And I've already decided where I want each color to go. So the top is kind of held in place with a paper clip because now we're going to concentrate on the pocket. We're going to use page protectors and I'm going to use a little bit of scraps, and I need 12 pieces that are 7/8 wide by 4 3/8 long. So the same length as my inserts, but just a little bit smaller. So I have a scrap here that I'm going to use. It's about 5 inches long, so I need 4 3/8. And these are 2. I will use one at a time. And 7/8 of an inch wide. And I need 12. So here they are. And now I want to create a thumb hole. So I'm going to mark the center. So it's about here. So I'm now using one of my round punches to punch a thumb hole, but a page protector doesn't really want to be cut. So I do have the markings now where the thumb hole is supposed to be, so I now will cut it with my scissor. And I will do this for all 12. So here are my pockets and here are my inserts, and now I'm going to attach the pocket to the insert. But because it's plastic, I do not know how well a glue will hold. So I'm going to use my sewing machine to sew all around the 3 sides. And if you have a glue that works for you to attach plastic to paper, then by all means, but I'm going to use my sewing machine. So I will now be sewing all these pockets to the inserts and then I will be back. So I figured I'd have you come along anyway to when I attach the pockets. So when you have the insert, make sure that the folded edges on the top and align your pockets. I'm not sure if you can see this. Pocket is right here. You align the sides and the bottom, and don't mind my fingers, I was in the garden earlier. And start stitching, holding on to the threads. My stitch length is on 3. And stop 1 stitch before the bottom edge. Turn it a 45 degrees, make 1 stitch, and then continue along the bottom, making sure that this here is still aligned. So now I'm going along the bottom, making a diagonal stitch and to the top. And I can clip the threads even though I did not backstitch, because I'm gonna glue the 3 edges to my paper. Now I rounded the corners because I'm not sure which corner is going to be rounded, so I want to clip this little end here or that one depending on how it sits in my book, because my pages have one rounded corner on the outside and a straight corner on the inside, so I'm going to round both corners by stitching like so. Okay, I will do the rest and then we'll continue making the book.